In this segment of the CISSP 2024 training, we'll delve into Domain 2, Asset Security. This domain covers a range of crucial topics, including the identification and classification of information and assets, establishing robust information and asset handling requirements, and ensuring secure provisioning of information and assets. We will also explore how to effectively manage the data lifecycle, ensure appropriate asset retention, and determine data security controls and compliance requirements. This foundational knowledge is essential for protecting an organization's assets effectively. In Domain 2, Asset Security, we will cover several critical objectives to ensure the protection and efficient management of information and assets within your organization. Firstly, we'll discuss the identification and classification of information and assets, which is fundamental in understanding the value and sensitivity of the data we handle. Next, we'll establish handling requirements for different types of information and assets, ensuring that each is managed according to its sensitivity and importance. Secure provisioning of information and assets is another key topic. Here, we'll look into best practices to ensure that these resources are distributed and accessed in a secure manner. Managing the data lifecycle is also paramount. This includes procedures for creating, storing, and eventually disposing of data securely, ensuring that sensitive information is protected throughout its entire lifecycle. We'll also cover appropriate asset retention policies to ensure that data is kept neither longer nor shorter than necessary, balancing security, compliance, and storage cost considerations. Finally, we'll focus on determining data security controls and compliance requirements, helping you to implement the necessary protections to align with both organizational policies and regulatory obligations. This comprehensive understanding of asset security will equip you with the knowledge to defend organizational data against threats and unauthorized access. In this slide, we focus on the concept of data classification under the objective of identifying and classifying information and assets. Data classification is the process of categorizing data based on its level of sensitivity and the potential impact to the organization if it is disclosed, altered, or destroyed. The main goal is to ensure that data receives the appropriate level of protection based on its importance and sensitivity. This process helps in managing sensitive information effectively, mitigating risks, and complying with regulations and standards. Understanding and implementing data classification is crucial for establishing a robust security posture within your organization. In this slide, we delve into the essential steps involved in data classification. First, it is crucial to identify the various types of data your organization handles. Understanding whether you're dealing with financial information, personal data, intellectual property, or operational information will guide the classification process. Next, define your classification levels. Common categories include public, internal, confidential, and restricted. Each level corresponds to a different degree of sensitivity and required security controls. Finally, apply classification labels to your data. By doing so, you ensure that everyone in your organization understands the level of protection each piece of data requires, thereby facilitating proper handling and safeguarding of sensitive information. These steps are fundamental to establishing a robust data classification framework, ensuring that sensitive data is appropriately managed and protected. Asset classification is a crucial process within the broader domain of asset security. This slide focuses on the definition of asset classification, which involves assigning categories to organizational assets based on their value, sensitivity, and importance to operations. Proper classification ensures that assets receive the appropriate level of protection and management, aligning with an organization's security policies and risk management strategies. By understanding the value and criticality of different assets, you can prioritize security efforts and allocate resources more effectively. This process ultimately supports the goal of maintaining the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of organizational assets. Let's delve into the key steps involved in asset classification. First, we need to identify assets, which include hardware, software, and data within the organization. The next step is to determine the classification criteria relevant to these assets, such as their value, sensitivity, and importance to operations. Once criteria are defined, we then classify and label the assets accordingly. By systematically following these steps, we ensure each asset is appropriately categorized, facilitating better security and management practices. Now that we've covered the steps involved in identifying and classifying assets, we move on to establishing information and asset handling requirements. On this slide, we'll discuss the importance of developing and implementing policies and procedures for handling classified information and assets. These guidelines ensure that all personnel understand the appropriate methods for dealing with different classifications, thus safeguarding the integrity and confidentiality of sensitive information. Creating robust policies and procedures is a critical step in maintaining a secure environment and ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. This guidance helps mitigate risks and prevents unauthorized access or mishandling of valuable assets. Now that we've established the information and asset handling requirements through policies and procedures, let's delve into two critical aspects: access controls and marking. First, access controls are essential for restricting access to classified information and assets based on their classification levels. By implementing these controls, we ensure that only authorized individuals have access to sensitive information, thus mitigating the risk of unauthorized access and potential data breaches. Next, proper labeling or marking of classified information and assets is crucial. This process guarantees that all information is appropriately identified according to its classification level, making it easier to handle and protect. It serves as a clear reminder to those handling the information about the necessary precautions and specific handling requirements. By focusing on stringent access controls and accurate marking, we lay a solid foundation for maintaining the security and integrity of our classified information and assets. In this slide, we will focus on storage and transmission methods to protect classified information and assets. Proper storage is essential to safeguard sensitive data from unauthorized access, theft, or damage. This means utilizing secure storage solutions such as encrypted drives, secure physical containers, and access-controlled environments. Equally important is the secure transmission of classified information. Using protocols like TLS, IPsec, or other encryption methods ensures that data in transit remains confidential and intact. Implementing secure pathways for information transmission prevents interception or tampering by unauthorized parties. Effective storage and transmission practices are foundational to maintaining the integrity and confidentiality of classified assets in compliance with security policies. CISSP 2024 Training, Domain 2, Asset Security. For this slide, we will discuss the crucial aspect of provisioning information and assets securely within the framework of asset security. First, let's delve into the concept of information and asset ownership. It's essential to understand that owners have a vital role in the cybersecurity landscape. They bear the responsibility for the protection and lifecycle management of information and assets. This encompasses ensuring security measures are in place from acquisition through to disposal. By recognizing the role of owners, organizations can ensure that there is accountability and a structured approach towards safeguarding classified information and critical assets. Let's dive into the responsibilities associated with information and asset ownership. As an owner, you are tasked with several critical duties to ensure the security and proper management of assets throughout their life cycle. Firstly, you must define the protection requirements for each asset. This involves identifying the specific security measures needed to safeguard the information and assets from potential threats. Next, you are responsible for authorizing access. This means evaluating who should have access to the assets and the level of access they should be granted. Proper access controls are crucial to prevent unauthorized use or exposure of sensitive information. Finally, monitoring usage is key. By keeping an eye on how assets are being used, you can identify any unusual or unauthorized activities, ensuring that any potential security incidents are promptly addressed. Understanding these responsibilities is essential for maintaining the integrity and security of your organization's assets. On this slide, we're focusing on asset inventory, which plays a crucial role in organizational security. The asset inventory is a comprehensive listing of all the organizational assets. This inventory is categorized into two main types: tangible assets and intangible assets. Tangible assets include physical items such as servers, laptops, and other hardware. These are items you can touch and often see within your infrastructure. On the other hand, intangible assets encompass intellectual property and data. These are non-physical yet highly valuable resources that require diligent tracking and protection. A well-maintained asset inventory ensures that all assets are accounted for and properly managed, forming the foundation for effective asset security measures. CISSP 2024 Training, Domain 2, Asset Security. In this slide, we're delving into asset management, focusing on lifecycle management. Lifecycle management is crucial for effectively tracking your assets through their entire lifecycle, from acquisition to disposal. This comprehensive process ensures that assets are correctly handled at each stage, maintaining security and compliance. Utilizing asset management software is essential for tracking and reporting on these assets. These tools provide a streamlined approach to monitor asset status, location, and valuation, making it easier to manage the organization's resources efficiently. By maintaining an accurate asset inventory and utilizing appropriate management tools, organizations can optimize their asset usage, minimize loss, and ensure robust asset security as part of the broader CISSP framework. In this section, we'll delve into managing the data lifecycle, an essential component of asset security within the CISSP framework. One fundamental aspect is understanding the different roles associated with data. Firstly, data owners are responsible for defining the classification and protection of data. They establish the guidelines and policies for how data should be handled, based on its sensitivity and importance to the organization. Next, data controllers play a critical role in determining how data will be processed and for what purposes. They make decisions regarding the use, modification, and dissemination of data, ensuring that all processes align with regulatory and organizational requirements. By clearly defining these roles, we ensure that data is managed effectively throughout its life cycle, from creation to disposal, thereby maintaining its security and integrity within the organization. In this slide, we continue our discussion on data roles specific to managing the asset security lifecycle. We have custodians, who are responsible for managing data storage and ensuring that appropriate protection mechanisms are in place. This role is essential in maintaining the physical and digital security of data. Then we have processors. These individuals or entities handle data processing activities. Their responsibilities include applying data operations, transforming data, and ensuring that any processing complies with governance and privacy policies. Lastly, users or subjects utilize the data for legitimate purposes. They are the primary end users who interact with data in accordance with the set policies and guidelines. Understanding these roles is critical for effectively managing the security and integrity of data throughout its lifecycle. In this slide, we'll explore the key phases of the data lifecycle. The lifecycle of data starts with data collection, which involves gathering data from various sources. This could be data from internal operations, customer interactions, or externally acquired data. Next, we have data location, which is about identifying and cataloging where the data resides. This is crucial for effective data management and ensuring compliance with data regulations. Following the collection and location phases, we move into data maintenance. This phase ensures that the data remains accurate, up-to-date, and relevant. Proper maintenance is essential for the integrity and usability of data over time. Understanding these phases helps in managing data efficiently and protecting it throughout its life cycle. In continuation of our discussion on data lifecycle phases, let's delve deeper into the next stages: data retention, data remanence, and data destruction. Firstly, data retention involves defining how long data should be kept within an organization. This includes understanding legal, regulatory, and business requirements to ensure that data is preserved for the appropriate length of time. Next, we have data remanence, which refers to the residual data that remains even after attempts to delete it. Handling data remanence is crucial for ensuring that deleted data cannot be retrieved or reconstructed, posing security risks. Finally, data destruction is about securely erasing or physically destroying data to prevent unauthorized access. Effective data destruction methods ensure that data is irrecoverable and reduce risks associated with data breaches. Understanding these phases is essential for robust asset security, aligning with the guidelines of CISSP 2024 training for Domain 2 asset security. So now moving on to ensuring appropriate asset retention, it's crucial to understand the concepts of end of life, EOL, and end of support. An asset reaches its end of life when it is no longer functional or useful within the organization's environment. At this stage, considerations for secure disposal become paramount to prevent any unauthorized access to residual data. End of support, on the other hand, refers to the point when an asset no longer receives updates, patches, or technical support from the vendor. This can introduce several security vulnerabilities, as the asset may become susceptible to exploitation due to unpatched vulnerabilities. Maintaining awareness of both EOL and end of support ensures that organizations can take proactive steps to mitigate risks, either by upgrading or securely decommissioning these assets. Retention policies are critical in asset security, particularly when defining criteria for retaining or disposing of assets. These guidelines help ensure that organizations manage their assets in an efficient, compliant, and secure manner. Legal and regulatory requirements play a pivotal role in shaping these policies. Businesses must ensure they adhere to relevant laws and regulations to avoid potential legal and financial repercussions. This approach not only secures the organization's assets, but also maintains its reputation and trust with stakeholders. In summary, establishing robust retention policies aligned with legal and regulatory standards is essential for asset security in an organization. In this section, we will discuss how to determine data security controls and compliance requirements, focusing on the different states of data. First, we have data in use. This refers to data actively being processed by applications, systems, or users. Protecting this data state includes implementing access controls, encryption, and monitoring mechanisms to ensure that only authorized personnel can access it. Next, we have data in transit. This is data currently being transferred between locations, such as over the internet or through a local area network. Ensuring its protection involves using secure transmission methods like encryption protocols, SSL/TLS, and network security measures to prevent interception or unauthorized access during transfer. Lastly, we have data at rest. This is data stored on physical mediums such as hard drives, databases, or backup tapes. Protecting data at rest often involves encrypting the storage devices, implementing strong access controls, and securing physical locations to prevent unauthorized access. Understanding and securing data in these different states is crucial for compliance with legal and regulatory requirements, while ensuring the overall security of your organization's assets. Scoping and tailoring are essential concepts in ensuring that security measures are both effective and relevant. Scoping involves defining the boundaries for the security measures that will be implemented. It helps in pinpointing exactly where these measures should apply, thereby preventing the implementation of unnecessary security controls that are outside the purview of your requirements. This step ensures that resources are optimally allocated. Moving on to tailoring, this is about customizing your security measures to meet specific needs and requirements of your organization. Not all controls are one-size-fits-all. Some need to be adjusted to align with the unique operational environment and regulatory demands of your business. Through tailoring, you can prioritize controls that are most pertinent to your situation, enhancing both effectiveness and efficiency. By correctly scoping and tailoring your security measures, you ensure a more strategic, focused, and cost-effective approach towards asset security. In this slide, we will focus on the selection of standards for implementing security measures within an organization. We will explore examples such as ISO IEC 27001 and NIST SP 800-53. The choice of standards is driven by the need for them to be relevant to the organization's specific operational requirements, as well as to comply with any applicable regulatory demands. Properly selected standards help ensure that security practices are robust, comprehensive, and aligned with both internal and external expectations. This is critical for achieving effective asset protection and maintaining regulatory compliance within your organization. On this slide, we focus on data protection methods, which are essential in ensuring the security of our digital assets. First, digital rights management, DRM, is used to control the access and usage of digital content, safeguarding intellectual property from unauthorized use or distribution. Next, we have data loss prevention, DLP. DLP technologies are designed to detect and prevent potential data breaches by monitoring, detecting, and blocking sensitive data during use, in motion, and at rest. This is particularly important for preventing the unauthorized transfer of sensitive information outside the organization. Finally, we discuss cloud access security brokers, CISSP. CISSPs serve as intermediaries between users and cloud service providers to enforce security, compliance, and governance policies. They help ensure that cloud application usage adheres to the organization's security requirements, providing visibility and control over data and threats in the cloud. Understanding and implementing these data protection methods is crucial for maintaining the integrity and confidentiality of organizational data in today's digital landscape. In this slide, we're looking at a summary of key concepts within Domain 2, Asset Security, as part of our CISSP 2024 training. First, we emphasize the importance of asset security, which is crucial for safeguarding an organization's data and assets from various threats. By implementing robust asset security strategies, we can ensure that sensitive information remains protected against unauthorized access and breaches. Next, we have lifecycle management. This involves managing assets throughout their entire lifecycle, from acquisition to disposal, to guarantee continuous protection and compliance with relevant regulations and standards. Effective lifecycle management helps maintain the integrity and security of data over time. Lastly, we have data security controls. These are essential measures that need to be adapted and effectively implemented to protect data in all its states, whether it's at rest, in transit, or in use. Having strong data security controls in place helps mitigate risks and enhance the overall security posture of the organization. These key areas form the foundation of asset security, making them indispensable for any security professional aiming to achieve CISSP certification.